An American in Tel Aviv took this video showing the severe damage caused by a Hamas rocket. This is just hundreds of feet from her home. You can see cars and buildings completely destroyed. That American, Rebecca Brindza, joins us now from Tel Aviv to share her story. Rebecca, first of all, thank you for being with us. And before you tell us about your experience during this attack, how are you doing? How is your family doing? I know you, just give me a sense of the people in your life that are important to you, how they're faring right now.
So I'm not actually going to answer okay or fine. That's usually the normal answer that people give when this happens. And I don't really think any of us are okay or fine. We're in the house now, we're in our home now, in the room next door. We have a friend here who's a physician who's been on the front lines in Soroka receiving patients. He's napping right now and trying to get some form of just break, even if he's been able to sleep. My partner is downstairs volunteering with an organization, I believe it's Hamal, and they're coordinating relief for different people around the country. I've been doing all of that I can, also speaking now and working with different relief organizations. I don't think we're okay. I think we're just trying to do everything that we can in order to help out. I think that's the main goal right now. My parents are in the US. They are worried. We've been receiving hundreds and hundreds of notes and lovely letters from people just asking if we're okay. And I think that's the biggest thing right now, is that we're such a small country, and people often forget that almost everyone here is affected in some way or another. So
we're looking at the video of this rocket attack. Can you tell us where you were when that happened and what you witnessed?
Yeah, of course. So we were at home. This is after a full day of rocket fire and also all of the violence that you guys have mentioned in the South. We hear the sirens. There's an app called Sofar that also notifies us before, and we can hear the sirens. We ran straight into our safe room, where we are one of the people that are blessed to actually have a safe room in our home. And from there, you just wait. You basically stay until there are basically massive, massive booms. We've never really had one this close by. And safe rooms are steel boxes, basically. And so the window shook. I don't know how to explain that in any other way, but having a steel window that has steel bars on the outside shaking, and you can hear the boom, and it's not the normal boom of the Iron Dome intercepting. You can really hear a boom. We didn't know if it hit us, if it hit somewhere close by. And finally, after we waited the 10 minutes, you have to wait a minimum of 10 minutes after the last boom, basically, to leave the safe room. And so from that moment, we ended up going out, pulling out. We have a pair of binoculars in our house. We ran to all the windows to see what was going on, to see if it was our building or another building. And it happened to be one in a lower building area that was about 200 feet away. Where there are people living there. There's also there are lots of local artisans that have been living in that area for a long time. And someone was caught in the rubble. And then afterwards, we just watched. We had to run back in the safe room again. And then we were just watching them pull, the emergency responders get there extremely fast and trying to pull people out, and basically cut through the rubble and figure out what was going on. So I think we had roughly 5 people in our house at that moment, because we've been taking in other friends that don't have safe rooms. So it's a lot.
Rebecca, one of the things, when I was a foreign correspondent and I was first sent to Israel to cover not just the country, but also the conflict with the Palestinians, one of the things that I reflected on was the first time you hear air raid sirens going off, or the first time you hear that there's a threat of a bomb in a neighborhood, and everybody says, Vlad, calm down. We're so used to this, right? And I have a very good friend who's still in Israel who would say to me, one of the reasons, she was born in Belgium. She said to me, one of the reasons why I moved to Israel is in the wake of the Shoah, that this was the one place where Jews could be safe. We know that we are safe here amongst our people. Has that feeling of safety been shattered in the wake of what some are calling an intelligence failure? Or, as somebody, Dan Senor, who's a foreign policy expert who's written a number of books on Israel, commented to me this morning, is it the inverse, which is that now the enemies of Israel will see a united front in the wake of terror?
So I think that's a really interesting question. So, I do think we have a united front in the wake of terror right now. Everyone is on the grounds pulling together. It doesn't matter if you are here or abroad. People are really taking effort, coming together. They're putting politics aside, which I think is a huge improvement in terms of the last 6 to 9 months of what's been going on. Now, there is a disappointment. I can imagine there is a disappointment on, if there was intelligence saying that before this was happening, why did no one's like, why didn't we take other actions to prevent this? Why did this have to happen in such this grave of a scale? And I think from that point, I think we're all frustrated. We're frustrated. I would say that on a daily basis, living in Israel, I do feel very, very, very safe here. And even now, in a very interesting, it's a weird response. I don't feel safe, but I don't feel unsafe. If there was any place that I really had to be, or like country that I had to be in, and know that there are people that out there that are going to protect me, that the country has resources, or that it will do everything in its power to get those resources to come back and protect us, I would say that this is the place to be. But again, it's a disappointment, but it's better than I think a lot of other people's options.
Rebecca Brindza, we can't thank you enough for your time, and we wish you nothing but the best. Please stay safe, yourself, your family, your loved ones. Do whatever you can to stay safe in such a dangerous situation. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.